Hello, and welcome to another episode of Broadcast Gaming Talk. On June 5th, 2019, there was a Pokemon Direct that showed off some of the things that are going to be in Pokemon Sword and Shield. These include features, mechanics, and of course, Pokemon and people. So, I want to discuss what was said in the Direct and give my thoughts on it. So to start, they showed off some new Gen 8 Pokemon, which are Wooloo, the sheep Pokemon, Gossifleur, the flowering Pokemon, Dreadnought, the bite Pokemon, Corviknight, the raven Pokemon, which can be used as a sort of taxi to take the player to any town they've already been to, and Eldegoss, which is an evolution of Gossifleur. And that was all of the new Gen 8 Pokemon they showed, since there are, of course, Pokemon you are already familiar with in the game as well. I for one like all of these new Pokemon, but Wooloo is my favorite since it is just so adorable. Next they talked about the wild area, which is a large area you can find, encounter, and catch wild Pokemon. There are different Pokemon depending on the time of day and what the weather is like. Now, I don't know if this means that you don't encounter wild Pokemon anywhere else except for this wild area, but they didn't say about that. Or they didn't say anything about that in the Direct, so that's going to be a wait and see thing. They did also say that when you're in the wild area, you have like complete control over the game's camera. So, yay, camera control. Now the main part of this here is the new feature, or gimmick, that they call Dynamax. Basically, you can fight Pokemon that are like 30 feet tall, and even you can make your Pokemon 30 feet tall as well to battle them, but it's a thing that only lasts for 3 turns, and then the Pokemon go back to their regular size. This also boosts their attacks as well, making them the max that they can be. To go with that, there's a new multiplayer thing called Dynamax Raid Battle, in which 4 players battle one Pokemon that is in Dynamax mode the entire battle, and only one of the 4 players can Dynamax their Pokemon, so you have to be strategic about it. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda think this whole idea is pretty silly. I mean, couldn't we just get a Pokemon game that doesn't have a gimmick to it? Just a game where you do gym battles and collect Pokemon and all that without Mega Evolutions, Z-moves, or Dynamax, and I just don't get why there has to be some kind of gimmick to these games. I'm not saying that this is a bad thing, but just something that seems really silly and unnecessary. Now, something I want to add from seeing it in this Direct is that obviously gym battles are back, but the design for the gym they show is lame and generic. Like in past games, the gyms all had something that made each of them unique and challenged the player to even reach the gym leader, but these ones just look like generic sports arenas since they have to be built to deal with the size of the Pokemon when they Dynamax, and it really is a letdown that they stripped that unique quality of the gyms away. Now in the Direct they talk about the people you encounter in the region, and I'm not going to waste my time on that since I don't really care about them. They show the Galaridu champion and his younger brother, the region's professor and assistant, and the grass type gym leader, and that's all you need to know. One of the last things they show is the 2 legendary Pokemon for the region. There's Zacian, who is on the box art for Pokemon Sword, and Zamazenta, who is on the box art for Pokemon Shield. They do look pretty cool, and I think their names are kind of badass. But it's a little strange that one of them just carries a sword in its mouth, but I guess they couldn't come up with any other way to do it. At least, with the last thing, they finally tell us the release date for Pokemon Sword and Shield, which is November 15th, 2019. And now, I have something to look forward to in November since I already have one of these games on pre-order. Overall, right now, the region looks amazing, the few Gen 8 Pokemon they show are pretty good, and the legendary Pokemon are pretty cool looking. Right now, the only things I'm not sold on are the lamely designed gyms and the gimmick that is Dynamax, but that is just me. That's all I have to say, so if you're out of the conversation, leave a comment below. As always, thanks for listening and goodbye.